Hello and welcome to episode 21 of the Crushing Through Life podcast with your hosts, Rob and Jim. Visit us at anchor.fm/crushing through life or follow us on Instagram at Crushing Through Life. It is May 27th today, 2021. And as always, let's start off with today's quote. It's up to you to make your life. Take what you have and stack it up like a tower of teetering blocks. Build your dream around that. That quote is from Cheryl Strayed. She's an American writer and podcast host.
How did you find that one?
Oh, the internets.
Okay. It's a little search action.
Little search action. In fact, that's how I've been finding most of my quotes. You know, a little Google inspirational quotes.
Okay, well, I know some of them have been specific to, like, for instance, I've never heard of Cheryl Strayed before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many people have, no offense to her, but I'm sure she has a big following. But, a couple of times we've had very, extremely famous people. So I was curious how you were getting some of them.
We gather all walks of life in the quote, inspirational quote world, and we go through the whole list there, the whole gamut, if you will. Jim, it's patio season, buddy. And the weather is picking up. Patio season
for bars are closed.
Yeah, bars.
Well, it's true. The patio season is upon us. It has arrived. It's just illegal to have people over or to go to a patio.
Hey, man, listen.
Until Wednesday, I think.
Yeah. Listen, it was hot outside. During the weekend, of the long weekend, we're in Canada. We had the Victoria Day holiday on Monday, and I wanted to open our patio, which has been closed, quote unquote, since the winter time. Basically, everything's tarped up, and our patio furniture is put away, and it was time to open it up because I just want to sit out there with a cup of coffee and enjoy some sunshine, because I'm just too cooped up inside, man. Yeah,
and even last week, Jess and I, last Thursday, we were sitting outside in the backyard. It's not fully ready, I guess, yet. Like last year, we did a power wash, but the barbecue is good to go. We probably need to clean off the table if we're going to eat outside. We don't really eat outside too often, especially if it's more like burgers and hot dogs and sausages, that kind of thing. Like fine, but I don't think we really eat too much where you need like fork and knife for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's just not something that we're super into, but the weather has just been so nice that you're right. The patio, it's just nice to be outside when we have been cooped up. And even if we hadn't been, it's still just nice to be outside anyways and take advantage of, the days are approaching. Like, it's always so crazy to me. We're less than a month away from the longest day of the year. It seems to sneak up so quickly because when it's dark, it's just so like daunting, and it's so like you get off of work and it's already dark, and it just doesn't have the same effect to me because I don't wake up early enough to take full advantage of the daylight, or I don't do anything outside. But when you wake up back when you could go to work and it was dark at, for some people 5 o'clock, and it's dark all day if they work in the office. And then by the time they get out, it's dark. I just feel like the other side is never, it doesn't seem as bright. It seems like it's way darker for more of the year. Because does it feel like to you right now we're approaching the longest day? Obviously the days are getting nicer, but if you think about it, it's less than a month away. Meanwhile, if this was in the reverse and it was November 27th, you'd be like, it's getting dark. You'd be like, is it dark at 3 o'clock today?
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like it's getting way later throughout, later in the night. But yeah, man, like I just want to spend more time outdoors when I'm
you have the perfect
home,
area for it, right? Like, because you and your family take full advantage, which is nice. And maybe you're the wrong person to ask that particular question because you do actually spend more time outside and maybe even later into the evening. But for some people, I'm sure that if they're not outside, it really doesn't matter. The days are getting long, especially if you can't go out on the patio. Like, think of even last year, when restaurants finally came back and patios were open first. It was pretty cool. I remember, I went to a couple with some friends, and it felt like the normal thing, but it was so nice. There's a really nice one in Hamilton that when people come, we try to take them to it. It's on Upper James on the second floor of Shoeless Joe's. But
Okay.
I mean, it overlooks nothing. If anything, they built up a building, like a hotel next to it. So you can't even, there's no view, but it's just the breeze is nice. The atmosphere is cool. There's a bar out there. But it's a nice patio anyway.
Perfect.
What about you? Like besides your back patio, is there a patio that you really enjoy going to? Like you and Terry?
Oh, just like you're talking in terms of a bar?
Like an establishment, not like your parents' backyard or whatever.
I mean, we've had. I always enjoy my parents' backyard. They have a really, really nice setup. We're very lucky. They have a pool that we get to go over and enjoy with the barbecue and a little like gazebo type of area with some outdoor like patio, like a patio like couch. It's like I forget what they call them exactly, but it's it's like a couch furniture, but it's outdoors. There's a specific word for it, but I don't know, can't remember it right now. But yeah, we get to enjoy that area. So like it's always very, very like relaxing and peaceful, and it's great to spend time with my parents and for Nico it's fantastic too. He gets to spend time with Nonu and Nonna and we actually made homemade pizza this weekend, and it was awesome. Yeah, he loves pizza. Yeah, for sure.
Well, he likes making it.
Absolutely. My dad's got this industrial like pizza oven thing outside in his backyard. It's like stainless steel. My
father-in-law made one. He has a similar thing. I don't know if that's super.
Really, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you know what? I saw it in one of your pictures that you post on social media, and I thought I meant to ask you actually. So kind of good that you brought it up. Anyways, so you were using that?
Yeah, so we were using that this weekend, man, and it was awesome. We made so much pizza. Honestly, I think we had a fat weekend, man. Yeah. It was a lot of, we had a lot of pizza this weekend. I'm not too impressed with myself, but you know what, dude? It was a long weekend. We wanted to enjoy ourselves and relax. I looked at Terry and I was like, you know what? It's going to be a fat weekend for me, and I don't care. I'm just going to let myself loose a little bit here and just enjoy the long weekend. So,
yeah, I think, it's important for me anyways, for what we do. It's been actually, Jess and I have let loose a little bit in terms of our eating as well the last little bit. But, I think, for you and I doing these challenges and having it, kind of snowball onto the wives. And now, like all four of us were eating better. We kind of brushed upon that last week. It's okay to let go. And, especially with, your kid is there and your parents are there, and it's a nice, like it was, the weather was perfect. I don't think there's anything wrong with that really. Like some people I'm sure would just stay strong and whatnot, but you're working out during the week so that you can have these experiences on the weekend.
Exactly. We actually on the other day, Terry and I were craving like a Dairy Queen Blizzard. We ended up going to Dairy Queen I ended up going to Dairy Queen after Nico fell asleep to enjoy a nice Blizzard and some Trailer Park Boys to unwind at the end of a stressful night one night.
A weird combo.
Yeah, but, actually, it's a fantastic combo. If any Canadians out there, if any Canadians out there know what I'm talking about, they would agree with me for sure. But the fat weekend continued because we had the Dairy Queen ice cream.
Okay, yeah, right.
And we had an Oreo fudge brownie Blizzard. And it was so good.
You guys split it?
No. We split it. Are you kidding me?
Well, you said we. We did.
Well, Terry and I, we ordered one each. Okay. We got two.
Well, I don't know.
But it was so good that we ended up going back the next day and ordering the exact same thing a second time. So the fat weekend is starting to go into the weekdays, which I'm not too happy about. So
that's where you gotta cut back.
But going back to your point of like, you guys go outside and you do enjoy the area that you live in. We planned this. We're like, okay, we're we're going to do this tonight. We're going to have some Dairy Queen blizzards. We're going to go for a big walk. And we actually did. We walked for an hour and 45 minutes with our son around the pond area that's near the area we live. So
that's awesome.
It's like we worked for it. We worked for this ice cream.
Well, I think I told you before, because you said, who am I calling earlier? But before the podcast, Jess and I actually went to get Subway for dinner, which is relatively close, but I rollerbladed and she biked, and we were like, you know what, let's just go. We'll save on the Uber charge and delivery fee and all that stuff, and we'll kind of be
great
healthy.
Move.
Like we earned it, so to
Great
say,
move.
right? Same as you. And then I felt like a nap afterwards. So that's where you're like, am I talking to am I looking at a mirror here?
I honestly thought I was talking to myself, and you're like, you know what, dude, can we just do this podcast a little bit later? I just woke up from a nap. I'm going to take a shower.
Yeah, let me regroup here for a second. I don't remember the last time I had Dairy Queen. And you asked me about Baskin Robbins before and said you like cookie dough. Cookie dough was my like almost certain
flavor?
Blizzard.
Oh, Blizzard.
I literally thought of McFlurry, Frosty. They all went through my mind. I couldn't remember the word you just said.
All the trains.
I don't remember the last time I would have had it.
Going back to like opening up our patio, and this is purely speaking from a father's standpoint, and I'm sure if there's any dads out here listening to this podcast, they would agree as well, that I really wanted to do this opening of the patio thing because I got to use my power washer. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we have a front concrete patio, and it's dirty from the wintertime. It's full of algae, and I got to use the effing power washer, which is like my favorite thing to do. Sucks the next day, but it's so much fun when you get to scrape off the layer of crap off the wall. You just see a clean patio after. It's like fantastic.
When that thing was satisfying about watching it, like almost a before and after shot, right? Yeah. But knowing that it's clean and ready to go.
Yeah, it's actually funny. There's a funny subreddit. I always have this. I always feel like I have a subreddit for a topic, but there's a funny subreddit called Power Washing Porn, and that subreddit has a ton of content, like videos and images of just people power washing decks and like.
So you were doing some studying before the big weekend. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I love power washing. It's so much fun. But like while I was power washing, get this, I have tires, right? My winter tires are still on my car. I have the summer tires like in the patio. So I took them out, and I actually we have a walk down unit. So we're just below street level. So I carried them up, and I put them just like in front of our patio unit, just kind of like off to the side to eventually later, put in our cars and go to
the switchover.
Yeah, the switchover. Do the switchover.
Yeah.
As I'm power washing and cleaning the patio, I got music playing. One of our neighbors, and we do rent in our complex that we live in. One of our neighbors took a picture of my tires and sent it to the management team, like the landlord, quote unquote, and I guess complained that the tires were there. It's not even in anyone's path or walkway. Like they were just kind of sitting out, and I agree. Like you don't put them there. It looks bad. Along the property, but I was still cleaning. I had music going. I was power washing. Someone called and complained that there was an email that was sent the next day. It's like, whoever's tires these are, they need to be removed as soon as possible. I was like, come on, give me a break.
Man, that's there's always people like that. In the end, if it's your actual neighbor, I doubt it, because it seems like from the stories that you've told before that they would know you. So they would see you out there, doing your stuff, be like, oh, are these yours? Like, I thought where you were going with this story was that someone was like trying to sell them. Like four great tires, complained. 4 summer tires for sale right here.
It was just
$200 for the whole set.
Yeah, it was just an eyesore for somebody. And to their defense, we do have 2 vehicles. So there were like literally 8 tires, but they were stacked neatly and they're just kind of put to the side above the steps steering area. They're bulky. So it is what it is. But like I was there, like I was physically in the patio. Just come talk to me. I'll move them as soon as possible. At least I'll let you know that they're just sitting there temporarily. Anyway.
Yeah, how long were they there for?
They were there overnight.
3 hours?
Okay, here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing.
So I was going to say, where did we
You're onto something. Now, you're onto something. You're onto something. That's a very good question. They were there overnight. However, when the email came out, it was the next day. But in the picture, it was during the time that I was actually cleaning and power washing the patio because my Bluetooth speaker was there and some things were there. So I know the exact time when the guy took the picture.
I was going to ask, like, can they see you power washing? Be like, that's me. those are mine. Yeah. So,
I digress, man.
Yeah. I'm surprised you'd leave them out overnight. I mean, I guess, like, for your neighborhood, you'd know it pretty well, but 4 tires just sitting there seems like easy theft.
Well, the thing about power washing, man, is that, at the end of the day, you get pretty tired. And Terry actually, gave me some warning 2 or 3 times that you should put them in the car. And I was like, nah, they're fine there. And they're not going anywhere.
Oh, man.
And we got insurance, if they were stolen, it's, you call the insurance company, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you see what happened was I was power washing all day. Oh, okay. A power washing case? Yeah, we see these all the time.
We see these all the time.
Yeah, that's probably another power washing case, Lenny. Got to mark it down. Send this guy on his way.
But yeah, so spent the weekend at my parents, made pizza. Fantastic. It was great to spend time with my parents. My brother came over, spent some family time, and it was actually pretty. My dad, my brother.
The whole family.
My brother, the whole family's doing great. My brother, actually, before the weekend, he actually did come over. And this is kind of a bonus to, that I do appreciate about working from home a little bit, is that he had a break in his workday and he was in my area and he actually came by and stopped for a little chat. And we actually walked around the park where we live. So it was actually pretty cool. He's doing great. Pretty stressed out with work and the way things are right now with the pandemic and the lockdown. He's missing the social life, right? The social aspect. Oh, yeah. So it's really starting to get to him a lot more, and it's actually starting to get to me too. I feel, it wasn't. I always felt like it was something I could control mentally. I do miss my friends, my family, and it was always very like. I feel like I could keep that at bay, and it probably due to the fact that we have a family that we like. I have a son that I need to take care of and focus on.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel for those people that are single and they live by themselves, and it's tough. It can be a little bit more tough. But he's doing great regardless of that. And I'm sure he was happy to spend time with us and see my son and play with my son. They had a great time together. Made pizza. And just went swimming with my son, and it was pretty cool. He actually it was great. Swimming's awesome. Love swimming. But it was pretty cool seeing Nicolo swim because, earlier on when he was 2-3 years old, he was very, very scared to get into the pool.
Right.
And even now, like last year, he was swimming.
Jaws is in there. I'm terrified.
Jaws.
When I'm in a lake and I'm in a pool, I'm like, oh, he's gonna get me like right before my legs come out every time. I'm like, it's a race. It's like, am I gonna get out of the water or am I gonna get etten by a shark in a pool?
Race. It's a race for sure.
But that must be really cool to see him like kind of develop those skills, because it's not something common. Like you're right. You're lucky to have that that as an option, right? Where you don't have to go to a public pool. Or in this case, you wouldn't even be able to take them really to a friend's house that does have a pool. And not too many people our age really have pools at this point, I don't think.
Yeah, I remember when I was young, doing swimming lessons, of course, at the leisure complex. And that's something that I think every single child needs to learn is how to swim, right? The earth is covered in water and we need to make sure that we can deal with it properly. So definitely want to do as much swimming with him as we can. Definitely having a pool helps, but I'm not a professional instructor. He should probably, go through the steps throughout, as he grows up and
grab yourself training. The best noodle in the bunch and plant and just plant. And that's I could picture you doing a good tutorial. No, I know you do a really good job, even if it's not the best. And there's certain strategies, like definitely people swim, but like more elegant elegantly than others that I have seen in the past. And I did like guppies or whatever it was in Aurora, and you kind of develop, and you go up. But yeah, it'd be pretty cool to watch him do that. Actually, I guess before we move on too much further, is your brother still doing? He's still keeping track of his workouts with you?
Yeah, actually, for sure.
He's like the pioneer. Like
he's the pioneer. Yeah, you're right. He's the pioneer for sure. He actually told me this idea of just starting a WhatsApp group and incrementing a number every day to try to do a workout every day. He's very much. It's pretty cool because there's times where I don't work out for a couple of days, and there's times where there's been a big gap where he doesn't work out for like 7 days. And then I'm still posting numbers. And then he will say a message to me like, you've been really pushing me. So, thank you for that. And that's pretty cool. Yeah. And in fact, we haven't sent one of those messages back and forth for a while now. I think I might get back on there and try to. It's because like for a while it's just been numbers, but the odd message here and there and the odd video, the odd photo of progress is always more rewarding, I find, than the motivation of just seeing an incremental number, right? That's the best thing. Yeah,
I think when you see, for our group and one of the new members, Rob, he sent us a picture. He's already up to, I don't know how many, 7 or 8 or something like that. And but then he sent us a picture this week of his, he got a Peloton and I think, and his weight setup, and it's a nice setup. So when you see stuff like that and other people working, and then you realize the time has gone by, it's kind of like, oh, darn, like at this point, I missed out on 4 or 5 workouts, and it actually adds up to, the fitness goals that you have. Like I think he shared, a personal goal of his that he wants to accomplish through doing this and using the group. So it's, when, like you said with your brother, like when you see that, you're like, oh, wow, okay, I've missed out on a week. You motivated me to get back on, what I wanted. Because sometimes, like you said, if he's stressed out with work and whatever, like that is more important than a workout sometimes. But it's a nice stress reliever, I find. It's a good way to spend energy when you're trapped indoors, like we have been. Or for you, getting outside for a walk or going for a rollerblade bike. It's a nice way to just do something that kind of is obviously good for you, but
for sure, man.
Stress. And because like usually after Sundays, no matter how long my session is, if it's like 12 hours, I usually go for a walk afterwards, and it's just nice to like clear my head. A lot of the time I'm by myself at that time because it's just so late, but it's just nice to, I don't know, take a deep breath and kind of regroup, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like it can be. I dealt with it too. Planning for that ice cream, right? For that blizzard. Like Terry and I both had stressors from our work, and we really wanted to kind of indulge, right? So we went for that big walk, and it was very nice, right? Because we did it with Nico. We took the wagon out, walked around the pond, and there's the geese and the ducks in this pond that we go to, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's sunset, and it was actually pretty cool this time that we went, because I got to sit back and relax and enjoy the sunset and watch my wife and my son play with the ducks and the geese. And for me, that was like I could feel the stress leaving my body. Like I stopped just thinking about work, right? And it's that step back, that breather to appreciate life, which is really, really what's best, and needs to be looked at from time to time.
Well, it sounds. Sorry, continue.
I was going to say just one thing, like what I noticed that was really cool with the ducks and the geese that we're watching. It was actually the geese. Terry pointed out to Nico that the geese, the parents, were actually washing themselves, and there's a bunch of baby geese. There's like 20 of them, and they're all like mimicking and copying what the parents are doing. And it was pretty cool to point that out too. I thought that was a pretty like cool little life stages, right? Like watching the parents do what they do, how to forage for food, following them, keeping in line, how to wash yourselves and all that. And it just like, it made me think about like parenting a lot, just seeing that happen in front of you. It's pretty
You know,
cool.
it's really cool because you know, hearing you say that it was a stressful week for both you guys and that kind of thing, and your brother was stressed, and like, you know, I had a stressful week.
Mhm.
That moment is why you do it. You know, it's so that you can have the freedom to have that house with your wife and your son and go for
And-
walks and have
and
these
eat ice
moments
cream.
and like and you take and eat ice cream, man. That's
Right.
it, right? And you know, I have this conversation with Jess a lot, and it's you know, so like sometimes people are living to work and not working to live, and it you
Mhm.
know, work is just so consuming, and you do it for so long. You know, when I was going to the office, there are people I see and spend time with at work more than I spend with Jess. And like,
Mhm.
she's my wife, but I see people at work for 8 hours a day. And when we get home, you know, it's 6 and we're only up till, let's say if we're up till midnight, and then we spend every second of those 6 hours together. Mind you, we're married, we sleep in the same bed, but it doesn't really count. You're not like consciously spending time with them. But I'm spending 8 hours a day with somebody all day, and I spend more time with them than I do at home doing, you know, anything that I want with the person I want to do it. So it's cool to like, you know, take a step back, watch life happen around you, and know that you're doing it on, especially on a weekend like May 2 4. It seems it's always been pretty special to me because I was lucky enough to have a cottage growing up as well. It was shared throughout my cousins and aunts and uncles. My grandparents had a cottage that they built separately after already owning one, and they were neighbors. So what we did was, you know, all like there's enough rooms in the older cottage that we could all go up there, and everyone could, you know, kind of spend the weekend. And then during the summer, everybody got the cottage for 2 weeks, and we split it up. But you know, when I think of May 2 4, I think of going up there and racing to be who was the first one in the freezing cold lake, and you know, putting in the Marine Railroad and fireworks. Did you guys see any fireworks? You must have. You probably have a great area for fireworks.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. We did not do fireworks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems like you guys probably just light them off. When someone's like, why is somebody lighting a firework off on a Thursday? That's probably you guys.
Man, and I'm heartbroken when I say that. It actually makes me feel really sad because I love fireworks. It's like one of my favorite things. I will spend money on really good quality fireworks. I won't go to like a local convenience store to buy fireworks. I'll go to an actual brand name store, shop for fireworks, buy the best cakes. You know, it's
You're not supporting the local guy. You're going to the big box fireworks stores, eh?
I'm going for quality when I get fireworks, not value and quantity.
I mean, like, so let's get off the depression of the non fireworks. But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty cool thing to watch, you know, like I was saying, like life happen and that kind of thing. And that's what that weekend is to me. I was going to kind of ask you, you know, actually, we didn't start the podcast but last year, but, you know, if you have any May 2 4 traditions, and probably one of them would be fireworks. But I guess, you know, a tradition probably is for you, like now getting out that power washer. But number one, going to see you know, your parents and doing that patio is, I mean, you know, if that's something that happens every year.
I think right now, I think right now, dude, it's going to be like kind of just the new tradition is going to my parents, right? Mm-hmm. Having family time, having dinner together, listening to music, you know, something like that. I was actually contemplating on whether or not I should bring my Xbox so we could play Just Dance and have like drinks as a family and just kind of have like a silly goose time, you know.
That'd be pretty cool. Loose as a goose.
We didn't do that, but like maybe next year we can do that, or one weekend we'll figure that out.
What's cool fun. To me is like when you look back, or you know, when your son looks back at this later, and you know, like I'm talking about what I remember about May 2 4 growing up. Mm-hmm. He's gonna. It doesn't so much matter the place. Like he's gonna remember. You know, where he was and whose house it was, but what he'll remember is like the whole family was there. And that's what I remember about, you know, mine. And it's times like this, honestly, that I really do miss family. Like, you know, like the obvious ones, Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, that kind of thing, where it's like, of course we're going to see family, but these are the ones, you know, that are still really special that I got. Like I have a big family and we get to see everybody. So I didn't think about it too much this weekend. I was really busy, but you know, thinking out loud about it now, it's definitely something that I miss, and I look forward to, hopefully when we can all get back together.
Yeah, for sure. Just one quick thing that I wanted to touch on in terms of people who are kind of stressed and anxiety and all that. I mean, there's always the Zoom call, right? We get together every week. We do this podcast, and that's kind of like how this whole idea started. But we actually got together with a bunch of my, I guess my cousin and a bunch of his friends that I do chat with often, and we ended up talking about like Google Earth, and like that Titanic came up in conversation. And I was like, did you guys know that you could look up the Titanic and view it on Google Earth in 3D? And they had no idea. So I ended up like on our Zoom call that we had together, I ended up loading up Google Earth, and anyone who knows Google Maps, and Google Satellite View and all that, there's Google Earth. It's an application that you can actually download for your computer, and you can tour the Earth in a 3D space and all that, kind of like Microsoft Flight Simulator. But we were going on this big guided Google Earth tour, because as I was going through all these different spots, Eiffel Tower and all that, one of our buddies, Marco, knows like the history of some places. He actually was showing us this place called Versailles in France, like where the kings used to live and the nobles. I had no idea about this place.
And I was very famous.
It's very famous. It's very popular, and I had no idea about this place. I just heard about it. I just learned about it when he told me. He's like, all right, type in Versailles, France. And we went to it, and like I checked out like this huge garden place. Anyways, it's amazing. Google Earth and all that, great application. But I was joking. I was like, this could be a business for people who are stuck at home. Hire someone. He gives you a guided Google Earth tour, but like it's not only a guided Google Earth tour. Like he knows the history, right? You can ask him questions, and like that's a pretty cool idea.
It's pretty interesting, because there are, when you think about how young Canada, this is what was so cool about Jess and I going to see Europe on our honeymoon was, learning. So we went to Scotland and we went to the Edinburgh Castle, and the history that castle alone has been through, and that's just one spot, in the UK. But the history that they've gone through over hundreds of years is insane. It's so nuts how little we as a country in Canada have gone through. So like when you see places in France and Italy, like all over Europe, it's just crazy how much has happened and how little we sort of know about it. It's an interesting idea, because like you said, working from home and whatnot, like I'm sure people would do that, or just like even make a YouTube channel of it and just do, what are we going to look into? You said you watched somebody walk down the street in Tokyo. Like, why not just do a 3D? I'm pretty sure people would watch that. But yeah, if you could monetize it, that'd be.
Well, we did the virtual martini thing, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. And that's pretty cool, pretty interactive, right? So it doesn't matter. Obviously, we're
whoever's listening and that's going to start this idea, we want 7%.
Yeah, at least 7 each.
We're modest. We're modest.
Eat
well.
Modesty is so actually, like it's speaking of that kind of thing, I think I brought it before, and you were sort of pushing me last couple episodes ago to look in. You're like, man, just do it. If you're gonna stream, just do it. So I actually on Monday, on the day off, I was just kind of like, what am I going to do today? And I started looking into Labs OBS, and it was pretty cool. I just sort of, fooled around with it, and I watched a YouTube channel on how to set up your channel and that kind of thing. I fiddled around with it. I'm not done yet. So
that's exciting.
But I think a lot of the work is still to come. But the idea of, opening it and getting some of this ready is pretty cool. There's definitely some more stuff I want to make sure to have down before I just like fire off and start to do it. But yeah, it was pretty exciting, and I had enough time. And at first I was just trying to figure out what was going on, and I had Jess come in, and she does what she just like grabs the mouse and kicks me aside. She's like, all right, let's get in here. She starts clicking away, and So it was even kind of fun. She was actually just sort of procrastinating work that she was doing at the time. So she was into it a little more than I even was at the time. But yeah, I mean, it was fun to do that with her, and then, you know, show her the progress I had made afterwards, because she had a very stressful week, you know, like we were talking about, and she had a big presentation today that she was working on all week, and because she works for an American company, she just works in Canada. She actually didn't have Monday off, so she actually gets this Monday off.
Right.
But yeah, so, you know, I'm very proud of her. She sounds like her boss really liked her work, which is really cool. And then I think
that's
this
awesome.
week,
Well, congrats on getting a little start, man. Like I know OBS Studio. I've worked with it on my computer, so, you know, if you have any questions, I'm hopefully I can help you. But that's pretty cool, man. Like,
I can't afford you.
getting started is definitely the key thing. Like, even since I started this podcast, I don't even know, we started on Zoom. We're now on a different platform.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to edit audio. I didn't know how to edit video, and it's just, you kind of pick it up as you go along. But yeah, definitely it sounds like you got that spark, which is super exciting. That's awesome. Really,
I'm very you know, I remember Jess said last week, like, when I do something, I see it through, and I know that goes, I don't think that's a true statement now that I think about it. A lot of the time I've hit a roadblock, and this is something that I've matured a lot more of throughout my life. And maybe she sees it more of now that I know where I hit these roadblocks mentally, just like, I can't do this. And now I'm finding ways, like, I don't think I've ever watched a YouTube tutorial before, besides like maybe how to tie a tie before a wedding. This is, you know, years ago.
Right.
But, you know, and now I'm like, there's no excuses. Let's just, you know, figure it out. So it'd be cool to see back, you know, if I give you, if I ever do actually use it and I, you know, start to run it and I'm streaming once a week or whatever, it'd be cool to see the breakdown of, you know, okay, so I got the, you know, my account was ready, and then I did this. Like, I feel like this day was a big chunk of, if I end up streaming, of why I do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends that are just like, man, you should do it. I know a couple of our, you know, poker buddies that I sometimes when we're playing, we just jump on a Zoom call anyways. It's like, I'm almost streaming at the time. So it's just kind of like, it's a cool community, and, you know, people can just chat and whatever, especially in poker. So
one thing I will note, man, as you start to this whole new project with streaming and Twitch and all that, you will have tech issues. There will be issues where things screw up and you have to fix them, and it'll take hours to fix them. It's very frustrating. But just like you're very aware, you are very aware of, like, that episode that we lost, that I tried to fix it to the best of software ability, but doing so gave me so much experience in audio editing.
mm-hmm.
So it was very rewarding, right? So there's that to be looked at too. Like, if you ever run into problems like tech issues and all that, it's tough because it's very frustrating and you want things to work at the beginning. But once you get over that hurdle, it's like, oh, that was actually a pretty rewarding experience. Like,
yeah, I'll probably just close down the account and be done with it.
Just retire.
Yeah, just retire. No, but I think, and so that's what I'm saying, you know, like, it'd be cool. Like, these roadblocks in the past would be like, oh, I don't know technology, so I guess I'm just out of luck. Right. But now it'll be like, I know people. Like, if I don't know it, there are people who do, or I can ask for help. I don't need to just shut down. In the past, I'd never asked for help. So yeah, it's, you know, it was pretty cool to be doing that. And, you know, I did spend some time with Jess, I guess, on the weekend, but she was pretty busy. But this weekend, she actually gets off. So tomorrow, we're actually going to get, so she'll have Monday off. And I think tomorrow she has like a kind of a half day sort of, because we are getting vaccinated tomorrow. Very exciting.
Yay.
So I'm not sure what it is. Did they even tell you? Because you got your shot already, right? So when I
got my shot, they gave me Pfizer. They also, Terry got the same thing. She got Pfizer. So we both went to the same clinic. It was actually a really good experience. It was very efficient. It was very well organized. There was security there. There was a bunch of checkpoints they had to go through, it seemed like I was walking through an airport at one point, but it was awesome. The staff was super friendly. very informative. And I'll tell you, man, like once you got the first shot, it's a great weight off your mind, you know?
Yeah, I can picture it being I'm on the side of, I picture it being a more dangerous thing, the first shot, because we've been cooped up for so long and things are starting to open, that people will be on the side more of now they're invincible, when really it's only like 52% effective.
When you get the second dose, yeah, like
don't
the
quote me on
dose.
that. Like until you get the second dose, people will think that they're invincible during this time, and it'll be very vulnerable with a misconception in their mind. So I'm in that camp, but you know, hopefully I'm wrong and everyone's fine. But I do think it mentally, it'll be just such a relief, you know, about the first line of your body's defense, I think, kind of thing, and hopefully start to ease up, and we'll see some change going through, because you know, it's pretty crazy. I have friends in the United States, like I don't want to get into too much of the Canadian politics and that kind of thing of, you know, how bad it's been, but like I've, you know, someone I know, friend of the pod, actually, Greg, that lives in the United States. I'll give a shout out to him. I'm sure he'll like that.
Greg.
He told me, you know, he booked it, got a shot. It was like nothing. And then 3 weeks later, boom, now he's vaccinated. I think he's on vacation right now. He sent me a picture of him with a beer on a white sand beach.
Real.
Like, oh, that's what you're doing on a Thursday, or actually it may have been today, and that he sent me yesterday. But you know, so it's crazy, and like watching the NHL playoffs are on, and sporting events, you know, basketball's on, and the United States, it's back. When you see stuff on TV, it's back. So it's really cool. It's such a difference to watch. You know, tonight the Leafs just, I guess it doesn't matter if I spill the results, but the Leafs lost in Montreal in overtime, and no one's allowed in the stands. And then you watch an American game, like Nashville's playing Carolina right now, and it's insane, the people there, and like, so it's very exciting that that's where we are. You know, sort of, and I think earlier to what you were saying about feeling cooped up, like for me, the closer we get to the finish line, the worse everything's getting. Where like at this point, it's like, I just want to do it. It's only 1 week. Like, it's so tough to be, if you believe that this is unsafe, to keep that belief at this point, where like everyone's just, you know, out. And I think the summer's going to be so tricky. I can't wait until everybody's vaccinated. We can do something like a May 2-4 with the gang.
Man, I cannot wait to get to the point where we can all get together and just either go camping or have a cottage weekend. Dude, it makes me so happy thinking about it, because it's just gonna be such a wicked time, right? When we all get to do that. So
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Some friends, like my American friends, I haven't seen and now it's almost 2 years. And at the time when COVID happened, I guess it was, so 2 summers ago, I had been to Vegas like 6 times by May or by June. Partially is because of work, but and then now I haven't been in 2 years. So I haven't seen any of those guys in a long time. And you know, obviously we stopped by the cottage because what our friends do every year is I get to go to my dad's cottage with him and a couple of buddies, and Jess will come. And then, you know, if I'm lucky, my sister will come as well. And we do that for 3 or 4 days once a year. And what my friends do, my best friends in the entire world, is they find out when that weekend is, and they book a trip for all of our group of friends to go and to a separate cottage on that weekend. Every year without fail, they're like, Jim, can you do this weekend? I'm like, no, that's the only one that I can't do all year. So how'd you guys guess? But I don't know how they do it every year. But anyways, last year we saw you guys because obviously you pulled that one again. But that's the last time I've seen a lot of our group of friends that hasn't been on a Zoom call. And even then, some of them don't even do Zoom calls. So it's like, I haven't talked to those people in 10 months.
The time that we got together, it was like when cases were really down and you could hang out in groups of like 15 or 12, whatever the number was, right? Yeah,
the numbers were so low. Like the
numbers were so
decreasing all the time.
100 cases, 200 cases, 300 cases. so whatever the compared to what it was, like 2,000 cases a day. So it was nice to get that little bit of a weekend during the pocket. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, buddy.
But
don't worry.
Looking
don't worry.
forward to it.
Yeah, we'll get together. We'll talk to your parents. We'll ask when you guys are doing a family cottage, and we'll make sure that we'll book it for that same weekend. And
that's all I can ever ask for. Or if we have to, like the day that we, because at some point Jess and I were talking about, we're gonna have to move to Seattle soon because it is kind of coming down. She's gonna have to be in the office. It's like we're gonna have to sell the house. So the week that we sell the house and probably fly to Seattle for the first time, you guys will be like, boom, that's we're getting the cottage. Fly back and be like, you couldn't have done it 1 week earlier. Like for sure. Keep that one in mind then when you are booking at least.
I will for sure. We'll keep you guys in mind and we'll confirm with you guys before we do the booking.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for this
episode 21 in the books.
Episode 21 in the books. We'll catch everyone next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.